All right, we're recording. We are on episode number 39 for the Reliance Real Estate Radio podcast channel. Today, hopefully you like the last ones we did, but today is focus on your wins, no matter how small they seem.
Yes.
What you got?
Man. Well, I mean, there's a lot that could go with that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. And when you do celebrate your wins, I think it helps motivate you to keep pushing to achieve more little wins, right? It's kind of like the baby steps to your goal, right? Working towards it every day.
Break down your larger goals into smaller goals, I think would be huge because, I mean, we just went over New Year's resolutions and you have this lofty, big resolution and you often lose sight of the end because it's too large and if you can feel overwhelmed, right?
Yep.
And, humans in general have a tendency to look negatively on things because our primitive brains tell us to. So there you are.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like you say you got to shower daily.
Motivation, yeah.
But shower in your motivation daily, right? Because you got to keep yourself going. And I think celebrating your little successes is a good way to do that.
I think that was
hey, I have a little success story, little win. We had a guy who where the listing side, buyer side, financing fell through. I found the guy to do it, the financing, and we're still going through.
So how'd you celebrate that?
By jumping up and down and saying, I did it.
There you go. Yeah, I mean, you have to reward those small goals of achievement in the large picture of things because it can get pretty bleak or look bad,
Yeah.
You got to make your goals. I really think you got to identify what your goal is and set it out to be black and white. But if you don't define what success is to yourself, because to each person it's different, right? Whether it's reaching a certain weight or goal, like you could just say working out. I always come back to this because it's, everybody kind of can relate to it. But what does that mean to you? Like your goal for weight isn't going to be my goal for weight. We're different people. We're different sizes. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like it's not going to be the same. So what is your goal when it comes to that? Like business, my team is going to be different. Our team is going to be different than the guy next to us or the team next to us or the other people we're doing doing a contract with or whatever. So like you really have to define what that looks like and you can't compare it to other people, right?
Right. Absolutely. So, Joe, out of curiosity, when you celebrate your little wins, you asked me what I do. How do you celebrate yours?
Well, I'm doing a 66-day challenge and my team, meaning you and Matthew, and then my wife are actually holding me accountable. So each time I get, a row, which is 6 days, I sit there and I'm like, we made it 6 days. This is great. And it's working out. And I've done 6 of these. So it's not as, crazy, but in the beginning, it was a cheat day. Where I got to have something, and it was keto ice cream, so it wasn't like, oh my god, I'm having like this huge overload of carbs or something. But it's that, or or if I get on the scale because I'm building muscle and losing fat and weight, right? So it's like that's a huge win when the scale doesn't move, but I can see there's definition in muscle. So then it's like, hey babe, check it out, and I'm telling my wife, she's like, oh yeah, you could definitely, little small wins, right? But
yeah, that's a great way to celebrate that. A little cheat day.
Yeah. Well, whenever we have a closing, it's like, hey, do I pop a beer? Okay, maybe. Or do I take the kids out and we have pizza? Like, yeah, if it's a bigger closing, like we'll do like a family win. And I'll let them know, like, hey, I closed on a really nice property today. Like, take me out to dinner. And they're like, oh, we like this, which is then in turn, they're in my office going, hey, Dad, when's your next big closing? Do you have one? Why aren't you calling right now? So they're kind of holding accountable, which is kind of neat.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. That's a really good way for people to hold you accountable when you have people involved in your way of celebrating,
especially kids.
Kids are kids can
When are we
definitely
going
be
camping
great
again, Dad?
motivators. You really don't want to disappoint the kids.
Right.
I think that's awesome. That's a
When's our vacation?
really good way of doing that.
But it also helps you celebrate those wins because you've put a goal, you've defined it, right? You know what that success is of the goal. I'm closing this property, or I'm closing X amount of properties, which is what,
Absolutely.
and then we break those down into monthly goals and weekly goals. If I hit those, then there should be a reward because, hey, that's awesome. You hit your goal, right?
Yep. Exactly. Exactly. And I think we've had um, a trend on reaching your goals, and there always are just going to be little baby steps until you reach that ultimate goal. So celebrate those baby steps, that are moving you forward to reaching that ultimate goal. Hey, and then when you reach that ultimate goal, that's when you do something real big.
Absolutely. I know I brought up J.K. Rowling's last time, and how bad do you really want it and striving forward. But like, I have a really good one for this time, and it's Thomas Edison. I think you know who,
Ooh,
right?
yeah, yeah.
So he's a businessman, and he actually invented the light bulb, right?
Yep.
It took 10,000 attempts to create the light bulb,
Huh.
right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's a huge amount of failures to his goal, which was to create, a light bulb. So 10,000 failures on his road to what he defined as success, right?
Yep.
So when he was asked, like, hey, why did you keep going? 10,000 times is crazy. And he's like, I haven't failed. I just found 10,000 ways that it wouldn't work, right?
Yep.
My end goal was here. So he, throughout those 10,000, he celebrated those as successes. Like, that's one other way that's not going to work. So that means I'm one step closer to getting to where I want to be.
Exactly.
So it's just reframing your mind, I think, has a big, big deal to do with it. And we talk about self-talk and how it matters. And I think even focusing on the small wins, like we said, our primitive brain tends to focus on the bad. And I think, wow, if you really turn that around, like, you can even start your day out great by going, I'm happy that I get to wake up, because there's people that just don't wake up in the morning. So you could be extremely thankful that you woke up, instead of going, oh man, I gotta go to work and have another day, and I have to make some phone calls. And it's like, no, I have the ability to make phone calls and hit my goals for today.
Yep.
So just having a different mindset against things, I think, is huge.
Absolutely. It's all about how you perceive things.
Mm-hmm. So breaking down a larger goal into smaller ones, keeping it simple, the lead domino, and then tracking it daily, weekly, monthly, I think can help, right? That's one.
Yes.
Changing your attitude, I think, is huge. I think making sure you gain clarity on what your success is, or what that main goal is, whatever it may be, so you can track it, right?
Yep.
Make it feasible, but yet a reach goal should be involved, right?
Yes, definitely.
I
I
think,
mean, the goal's got to be obtainable, or else you're just going to disappoint yourself
but it has
for
to
all the
be
hard work you did.
what we call a reach goal, is like just outside your comfort zone, because we want to create a little bit of movement.
Yep.
Movement equals
Absolutely.
movement, right? So I think that helps. I think you need to revisit your goal daily, because if you don't, like, how are you going to remember? So like right here next to me on my whiteboard is my 66-day challenge, my team goals, my self-talks right there, because all those three things matter to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And they're
My core,
visible.
my team core values, my home life core values are there. Like, all that stuff's visible to me because it matters, right? And I think remembering your why, like, why did you actually create that goal or create that definition of success for yourself, I think is key. So like, is that your mission statement? And does that actually mean something? Or are you just creating a mission statement because you were told to? And do you have one for your business and for your life? Those are huge things. Once you get all that, it's easy to celebrate the small wins. It's easy to celebrate the wins in general, because you gained clarity, right?
Exactly. There's always different ways that work for you to be able to celebrate. We have a coworker friend named Joe Ryan. He told me that every time that he sold a deal, a property or whatever, he would buy himself a little something, whether it was like a very nice pen, he bought himself watches, shoes. It
Mhm.
was something that was able to keep him going. Like, okay, so that's awesome. I'm getting towards my big goal here. I'm still going to celebrate my wins here. That's going to reach me to that endpoint, which I thought was pretty neat. But that's his way of celebrating.
Yep, you need something to drive you, and then you need something to pull you. And I think having that something to look forward to helps people. It may not be for everybody, but for Joe, it seemed to work really well. He had that like kind of proverbial carrot in front of the horse or whatever that was drawing him to it. Like, hey, if I close 5 deals this month, like I'm gonna go buy myself that nice watch I've had my eye on, which is great,
Mm-hmm.
because you're not just impulse buying it. You're saying if I hit my goal, this is something I want and it's tangible and I'm going to tie that goal to it. And therefore that equals I was successful that month and therefore doing that, you know what I mean? Which is perfect.
Yeah.
And that works for a lot of people. Like Matthew, our buyer agent, is like, hey, if I get X amount of deals done, I'm buying a house this year.
Mm-hmm.
That's
That's
a
a big celebration.
so we have to hold
That's
him
awesome.
accountable weekly and monthly for that, right? And he's like, I'm on board, you know.
Absolutely. That's like super exciting to hear.
Yeah, absolutely. So, well, that's all I have on my end. Do you have anything to add, Jeffrey?
No, sir. I think we've covered that.
Okay.
I'm excited for the next podcast, and we'd love everybody's feedback. We'd love to get some 5-star reviews from you. It'll really help us grow our podcast to reach more people that may be able to use this.
Yeah.
Um,
Share it, like it, comment. Let somebody else hear it if you think they need it. If you found some value in it, that'd be great. Hopefully, we're bringing value to anybody that's listening, or watching. We are on every podcast channel that you can think of on your phone or device, and we are on YouTube, so you can watch us.
yeah.
I think maybe we should switch up the backgrounds next time. Have like dinosaurs roaming around or
Yeah,
something.
let's do that.
Alien
Let's
spaceship.
let's do something that's less or something new. Some change. Change is good. Change is good for people.
All
Yeah.
right.
All right.
Cool. Next time.
Awesome. Bye, everybody.